Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At OnSide Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At chaseroofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. Chaseroofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Hey, what's up? It's Toast, and I've been telling you guys all about my buddies over at B&T Windows and Doors. And some of you said, hey, listen, Toast, I'd love to get PGT custom windows and doors installed, but funds are a little tight right now. No problem, bro. Y Green. You can finance it with B&T Windows and Doors through Y Green, so you can still get your PGT custom windows and doors installed. And yeah, you're not going to have to put anything down. It's awesome. That's the way I got mine installed. Call B&T Windows and Doors today. They'll tell you all about Y Green and how to finance your windows. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
When you're tired of watching the sun damage your furniture or raise your electric bill, it's time to do what we did here at OnSideRadio.com studio. Call a Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise. A Shade Above Window Fashions has a great selection of blackout shades to choose from. We can almost create a complete blackout for your bedroom or media room. Call them at 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashion.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your OnSide Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
One of the most toxic games that you can play as a console player, or even really now on PC as it's becoming more mainstream, has been the Call of Duty franchise. Activision and the slew of other developers that they have there to develop games for their franchise and being that main Call of Duty, the brand that brings people here and there, have officially banned 350,000 accounts for acts of racism and other things that go against their codes of conduct. This is a huge step for Call of Duty, as it is one of the most toxic games that you can play. Environments like an MW2 lobby, or just really anything you can see on Twitter or in games in which you have voice chat and even text chat enabled there on PC, do get pretty dicey. So the fact that Activision are finally stepping up and taking some action here is great to see.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the OnSide Radio E-Report. It's time for the fans to take over. OnSideRadio.com presents Miami sports music for the fans. The show dedicated to those who follow South Florida teams with a true passion. Here's your host, Stephen D.
What is going on, everybody? I always forget to hit the mic when that happens. I always do that every time. It's your boy, Stephen D. This is Miami Sports Music for the Fans. I am your host. We got an exciting show. Can I say exciting anymore? That's how excited I am about this show today and who we're going to have on. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So, look, check it out. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody, you guys need to go ahead and download this show after it's over on anywhere you get your podcast, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean. If you're driving home and you're not able to listen to all of it on YouTube, that's okay. You can listen to us audio and download it. I need you guys to go do that. If you're watching right now on YouTube, I need you guys to go hit that like button. Seriously, go hit that like button. I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're not slapping that like button. So I need you to go do that. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel OnSide Radio. And if you have the time, you might as well go to Miami Sports Music and subscribe there too. All right. I am super excited. I'm not even going to do the roundtable talk today because I just want to talk to my guest. I'm super excited about the man that I have on. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler. He is one of the coolest, most nicest individuals I have met that is a former player. Not even a former player, just period. A great individual. And he is all about for the fans. He does so much stuff for fans. He does so many fan podcasts. He even has his own podcast with Reason called The Finish Line, which we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. Without further ado, Mr. Richmond Webb. What is up, man? How are you?
Stephen D, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man? I am super, super stoked about you coming on this afternoon. It's honestly, this is one of those dreams come true for me because you're somebody that I watched a lot as a kid and, growing up and not even as a kid, as a young adult, just understanding I played offensive line. And so I mimicked my game as much as I could, although I didn't make it anywhere except high school. Like you, I played center guard tackle. I sat in the center of the bench. I guarded the water, and anybody who came get the water, I tackled them. That's about as far as my playing career went, Richmond.
Come on, man.
Well, look, man, the way we do things on this show, I absolutely love. What we do is we get our car keys, we get into the DeLorean, and we head back in time. We go back to the future, and we start from the beginning. So that's what we're going to do right now. You're going to be Doc Brown. I'll be Marty McFly. So let's go ahead and get back to the future with Miami sports music for the fans with this rockin' episode with Richmond Webb. So look, I did my research.
Okay.
And you grew up, you were born in Dallas, Texas, right?
D-Town, that's it. Yes, sir.
So it was you. You have a brother, correct? Like, what was it like as a kid growing up in Dallas, Texas? I'm sure. Unfortunately, you were probably a Cowboys fan. You know, Roger Staubach and those great teams and Landry. What was it like being a kid? You know, like in football. I don't know when you got your first introduction, whether it was Pee Wee or when you first started playing. But what was it like growing up in Texas in football?
Man, it was great. Like you said, grew up in Dallas. It was 4 of us actually. My sister passed away, but I had my older sister, then me, and 2 younger brothers. So 1 girl, 3 boys, and it was great. Like you said, the Cowboys was basically, if you grew up in Texas, back then they kind of considered America's team. And I can remember back in the day, we look forward to them playing against the Redskins. It seemed like that was the big rival. Of course, the Giants, and but it always seemed like the Cowboys Redskins was the game. But back then, I can remember as a child, just I think it was Howard Cosell used to do.
This is Howard Cosell.
Yeah, and you would have guys like Terry Metcalf, O.J. McDuffie, and he would do the little. It was kind of like Swami did his 3 minutes later on, but Chuck Foreman, all those guys. You would watch them and watch the highlights, and then we would try to go out the next day and emulate or say, well, I'm this guy, I'm that guy. And so it was great, and didn't actually start playing organized football till like 7th grade because I was always bigger than the other kids. And normally in, Little League football, you have to make a certain weight limit. So I was always bigger than that, and I would have had to play with older kids. And so my mom wasn't having no part of that.
She wasn't having that. You can't hurt my baby. No, we're not letting that happen. Now, it's funny because football growing up in Texas is a way of life.
Yeah.
Like it is. I mean, we've all seen all the movies when it comes to Texas and football. So what is high school football like in the state of Texas?
It's crazy, man. A few years ago, I think the city of Allen, which is north of Dallas, I'm in Houston now, but Katy, which is out west, and, they build $35, $40 million complexes for.
And this is back then.
No. This is now.
Okay.
I mean, you still have the big thing with some of the smaller towns was like Friday Night Lights. They did that movie about small town in West Texas, and basically the town shuts down. Everybody's at the high school football game. So imagine it's immense pressure for a kid playing there because you don't want to mess up. And everybody in the town, knows about it. So, I think football has always been probably the dominant sport. We've always had good track, good basketball, but football is a way of life here in Texas. So,
did you play any other sports growing up, like basketball or baseball or anything like that?
I did. I played football and basketball. And
so you were a 5. I'm assuming you were a 5. You played the 5.
I was center.
Big man in the center.
I was definitely a center, but that's the thing now. I wish more kids, or everything's become so specialized now, but really, I think playing different sports, it works different muscle groups and stuff like that. And for me, being an offensive line, playing basketball, the shuffling drills, having to react to, we'd had a drill where we played 2-on-1. So I had to try to guard the goal to try to stop 2 guys from scoring. So it forced you to shuffle and stuff like that, which later on paid dividends. But, now everything is so specialized. You almost have to commit to one sport and,
Well, that's what they want you to do. But I agree. I think you should do multiple sports, even now, just because of the team chemistry and just, learning different things and not being so laser focused on one thing because, God forbid you fail at the one thing you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? It's always good to have other options. And so I'm a big proponent of playing multiple sports as a kid. So let me ask you, you get into high school or you get in, I guess, junior high, you said 7th grade. When did you know that, okay, I'm good at this thing? Like, when did you start on varsity for the first time? Like, when did it really start clicking for you?
Yeah, I started probably midway through my junior year, because I was I played both sports. So a lot of times guys that play football while we were playing basketball, those guys bulking up, lifting weights, stuff like that. So the weight I had for football, a lot of time I would slim back down and then, had to catch back up. So I say my junior year, I started through my senior year. And then I started taking off. I could see by the end of my junior year, and then I started getting letters from different, universities, colleges, stuff like that. So I knew I was good enough to possibly get a scholarship. And then the other thing was I had good grades. So that definitely helped because you can have the size and stuff, but if they don't think they can keep you eligible, you're there a year or two. That's something they got to take into consideration too. So
you hear that, kids? Do your work, do your school work. Richmond said so, and if he said so, you better do it. All right, so you're. I mean, it's almost like you didn't get cut or anything from your first couple of teams. This isn't a Michael Jordan story. But I'm surprised. I mean, you were probably a big guy in your sophomore year of high school. Did they try to entice you? Come on, drop the other sport, come and play football full time.
No, they was pretty. I mean, I was pretty good, good kid. Like I said, had good grades, stuff like that. So, they never said you got to choose which was good. And then another guy I went to school with, he ended up. We both got drafted the same year. We both went to A&M, but his name was Aaron Wallace. He was a linebacker, and he played with the Raiders for 9 years. So, it's kind of ironic. You grow up with a guy, and then you go to high school, we go to college together, and we both end up getting drafted and then having, a long tenure in the NFL. So
anything over 3 years is considered great.
He was a power forward, and I was a center. So on the basketball team, so
look at the 4 and 5 doing it big from Texas, baby. I like it. All right, so we got a few minutes before we come up on the first break. So let me ask you, what was recruiting like, for you back then? Because offensive linemen they're highly coveted, especially in college sports. So you played at Texas A&M.
Correct.
That was a big school even back then. So, who were some other schools that were looking at you, and what was the recruiting process like for you?
Well, actually, I got recruited as a defensive end. So I played defensive end, offensive tackle. So, but back then they had a conference called the Southwest Conference. So you had Texas A&M, Texas, SMU, Baylor, University of Houston, Rice, Arkansas, and SMU. So that was the Southwest Conference. So got course from there, and then a lot of schools from the Big Eight, which was like Oklahoma, Nebraska, Oklahoma State. I got some letters from the SEC and then some schools from California, but I really never considered some of those because I didn't want to go too far away from home. So
Mama wanted her baby near home so she could see him play every day. I know how it is.
Yeah,
you're like me. You're an MB. You're a mama's boy. I got you. I am too. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I never wanted to go, I was always, I guess the way I looked at it is this: what if I get way away from home and I really don't like where I'm at? And I know my parents couldn't afford to just say, okay,
come on back.
Yeah. So I said, let me try to stay by 3 or 4 hours, from the house, and ended up being between basically A&M and Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and I chose A&M, and that was the best decision I made.
Mr. Aggie pride himself, I guess, there, right?
All day long. That's it.
All day long. All right, well, we're coming up on the first break, and so in the next segment, I want to obviously talk about Texas A&M playing, and then obviously, the opportunity to get drafted and what that process was like. So we're going to do that when you come back. What I do want to remind everybody is you can start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Toasted Sports right here on OnSide Radio, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. only at OnSideRadio.com. We'll be right back with the great Richmond Webb. This is Miami sports music for the fans on OnSide Radio.
You're listening to the home for South Florida sports fans. OnSideRadio.com. Stephen E. Miami sports music for the fans returns in just a few minutes. Get off the bench. Dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. This is Miami sports music.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up now. Let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodiasDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moodias family. Dr. Moodias is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodiasDental.com.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
This Inter Miami CF Minute is brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world and a great place to watch Inter Miami CF. Stout features Clonakilty Whiskies, the world's best Irish whiskey.
A name that was left out of the loss to DC United at Drive Pink Stadium on Saturday night was Rodolfo Pizarro for the second time in a row. He missed the Chicago game and did not make the trip due to a so-called injury. And again, due to a so-called injury, Rodolfo Pizarro was not in the starting 11 or even in the squad. We have to hope that our third DP is okay. After not being called up to El Tri, the Mexican national team, and now with a couple of injuries, hopefully he can come back a lot stronger than he did after his poor performances this season and really make an impact for a team that needs him.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search OnSide Radio. Welcome back to Miami Sports Music for the Fans. To talk to Stephen D, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. To reach out on the text line, it's 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Stephen D on your home for South Florida sports fans around the world. OnSideRadio.com.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Stephen D. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all on this hump day. Yes, that's right. It is Wednesday afternoon. I want to, before I bring in my guest back in, I want to remember everybody, if you're watching right now, hit that like button when you come in. Please share this link everywhere. We want to grow, and we can't do that without your help. YouTube's all about algorithms and all that other baloney. So we need you to hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button, share with everybody, your mom, your grandmother, your dad, your sister's dad. I don't care who. Everybody needs to be shared with. All right. Without further ado, let's bring my man back into it, the one and only Mr. Richmond Webb. Richmond, man, this is great. I'm having a good time. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
All right, man. Let's pick up right where we left off, okay? So we left off, you get recruited at Texas A&M. Tell me about playing college football and what that experience was like at Texas A&M.
You know, I formed relationships that, you know, I still have to that day with just a great school, you know, the value, the character, the integrity, you know, school, huge own traditions that, you know, still carry on this day, whether you went 50 years ago or you're going now. It's like one big family, and doesn't matter the time period you were there, everybody kind of buys into that. So had a great time there. Went there as a defensive lineman, defensive end, and after about a year and a half, they switched me to offensive line, and then I was backing up. They moved me back up left tackle, and then about midway through the season, the starting left guard got hurt, and then they moved me from left guard to left tackle to left guard, and started there, and I started and played there a year and a half, and then my senior year, right before the season started, they moved me out to left tackle and
playing the blind side.
The rest is kind of history, yeah.
So, how were your teams there? Did you guys? I'm not familiar with your record. At least,
that's okay. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Did you play in any bowl games?
We did. We went to 3 Cotton Bowls. We were Southwest Conference 3 years in a row, and then we didn't go my junior year. Then my senior year, we went and played in the Sun Bowl, which is out in El Paso. We played Pittsburgh, and ended up losing that game. So we actually went 2-2 in the bowl games. We won 2 and lost 2.
Hey man, look, you won, and you went to the Cotton Bowl, which is pretty awesome. So you played at that old Cowboy Stadium too. So I'm sure that was surreal for you as a Texas boy growing up. You get to play in the Cotton Bowl. I'm sure that was surreal.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. You know, that was the game you had to win the Southwest Conference. You know, they didn't have the playoff system then, so, you know.
They still don't now. Let's not go there. That's a whole other story for another day, Richmond. We ain't got time for all that with the NCAA. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So you do all that. Tell me about the combine back then and the drafting process before you get drafted. So what was that like?
It was, man, it was, you know, before my senior year, they said you possibly might be like, you know, top 3 rounds. You know, they kind of give you a projection, this and that. And I was like, well, maybe. Didn't pay much attention to it. But, you know, even though I played tackle, I always thought I was a better guard because I just felt comfortable. Because I moved out there right before the season started, like a week or 2 right before the season. So I did it, but after my senior year was over, I wanted to go back and play guard because I always thought I was a better guard. So I knew going to the Senior Bowl, I did that. That could either elevate you or, you could just lose draft status. So went to the Senior Bowl and got coached by Philadelphia Eagles staff, which was Buddy Ryan.
Buddy Ryan.
I got there.
You remember Rex and Ryan when they were kids then?
Yeah, they was pretty young, and first thing I went up to him, I said, hey coach, I said, hey, is there any kind of way I can play guard? Because I really can play guard. And he was like, no. He said everybody wants to see you tackle, so that's not gonna happen. So I said, okay. So, but the thing was at the Senior Bowl, we would do one-on-one drills and this and that, and it would probably be 30 scouts just lined up right behind you. So, and you had a legal pads out, taking notes, this and that. So you knew at that point you did not want to get beat, and I understood how serious it was. And then I can remember getting back to the hotel. I'd always try to. I really didn't want to talk to many people. I was just focused on what I had to do at the Senior Bowl. So I remember coming in the hotel one day, and I saw these two guys looking at me, and they started walking toward me, and I was trying to make it to the elevator, and I was, I knew that I was looking at it with my peripheral vision, and I was trying to get there, and I heard the guy say, "Slow down, you're not in that big of a rush." Look, and I actually looked up. It was Mean Joe Green.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, he was.
That's awesome.
And another coach, and they just wanted to sit down and talk. So it was pretty cool, but I just didn't know who it was at first.
Did you have a Coke with Mean Joe Green? Come on now.
I have a Coke with him now, and then the good thing was we were both from Texas. He played University of North Texas, but, learned a little bit of that history. And then eventually he came and was Coach D-line at the Dolphins. So got to know him really well and saw him a few years back. So it's always a pleasure when I see him. But had a really good game at the Senior Bowl, and then went to the Combine after that. And that was like –
the Combine back then, though, is not what it is now. I mean, it was such low key back then, but still, for you guys, the players, it was probably just as big. Like, I got to do well. Did they have stuff like the Wonderlic Test and stuff when you were?
Wonderlic Test. Do
you remember what you got on your Wonderlic?
I was in the 20s. I can't remember. Okay. 25, 26. I can't remember what it was. The thing is not, I don't think it's really anything to do with football.
It's nothing to do with football at all.
Yeah, I think you just answer questions.
If the bus is yellow and the bus is green, what color do they make? Seriously, the questions are like that, dude.
Yeah, so I did that. But, and I always wondered why I was sore. But you go through, they have, like, say, a team of 6 doctors. But you go through the same examination, seemed like 6 times. And I think they just double checking just to make sure you have, and then you wonder why you're sore, where you've been getting checked on from 6 teams of doctors. So I did that, and it was like a meat market, man. I can remember walking there, they had you turn around and hold your arms out and spin around. I was like, man, like a piece of cattle or something. It was crazy.
I mean, it's probably crazy. You're being poked and prodded, asking a million different questions. So what teams did you meet with there? And how did the Dolphins kind of come into the fold? Did you know at the Combine that they were interested?
No, I did talk to some teams. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. But I remember when I was at A&M, McNally, the coach he was an offensive line coach at the Bengals at the time. He had coached Anthony Munoz. So he came down to A&M. John Sandusky, the coach from the Dolphins, taught me everything. I owe a tremendous amount to him. That's my first coach there. He came down, and then it was a coach from the Atlanta Falcons. I think I had 3 coaches come down to A&M, and only one of them worked me out. That was a guy from Atlanta. So did that, and then right before the morning of the draft, I got a call from the Raiders, which they said, if you're there, we're going to take you, but then we'll think you'll be gone. I think Kansas City called, and also the Dolphins, and all of them were saying, my coach called me, and he said, if you're there, we're going to take you, this and that. But, everybody tells you that, but until you get that call, you don't know.
Now, you were the 9th overall pick in the first round, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I think around about the 5th, 6th, I figured out, at first they had me projected to go to the Chargers, San Diego, and then maybe about a month or so before that, Junior Sal, he was a junior, he declared for the draft. And then they were saying maybe him, and I started thinking about it. I said, probably won't be me because he played at USC. It just makes sense. He was, he was a hell of a player. I said, he'll probably go. I just tried to.
You ended up in the right place, buddy. Let me tell you.
I ended up in the
You
right.
already know you did. So what was the phone call like?
The phone call was like this. I was waiting, and then the Patriots had the 8th and the 10th pick, so Dolphins was in between them. So when the Patriots selected Chris Singleton at the 8th pick, as soon as they did that on TV, my phone started ringing. So I was at home, my parents' house, this and that. So the phone rang. I answered. It was Coach Shula. He said, "Hey, you ready to be a Dolphin?" I said, "Yes, sir." So
I got goosebumps just hearing that. Boy, you have no idea.
I could breathe again. I could relax because for me it was over because I knew where I was going. There was no more anticipation. And then, but I had to wait like 15 minutes. Like each team back then got like 15 minutes. And they knew, but they just used up all their time. And then they announced the pick, and then they show some highlights of you. And then like Swami, Chris Berman, Tom Jackson.
Back.
And Joe Theismann. I think that was the people on the analysts, they'll say stuff about you. So that was pretty cool there.
That is such an amazing story. So what was your mom like, when you got like, we see the draft every year. Do you still get chills when you see players get drafted and the love? Because you get it, right? Like you understand it, the hard work and dedication that you put in, the sacrifices that your mom and your family made so that, they could take you to practice and all. Like it's a real thing.
I didn't appreciate it I was appreciative, but it gave me a different appreciation when my daughter was playing sports and I'd have to take her to practice, go to games, this and that. Your life kind of goes on hold and you're consumed with your children's activities. Not that you don't enjoy it, but you're making a sacrifice so your kids can do something that they love to do. And when I going through that, I kind of thought back because, I played football. My two brothers, we all did sports, and, so it was like nonstop. So I was like, man, they really made a sacrifice so we could do what we truly love to do, and they support us in that. So I had a different appreciation, and I went and told my mom and dad once. It kind of clicked when I was going through with my kids. I was like, man, I appreciate it. I said I didn't know at the time, but it's a lot.
It is a lot. All right, we're coming up on the next break here. We're obviously going to get into what everybody wants to talk about now, which is Miami Dolphins. Okay. So I'm super excited about this. We've been going back in time. I got chills when you said Shula called you that you're getting drafted. I got the goosebumps. I'm sure it took you back in time too. So before we go, I just want to remind everybody, Richmond Webb has social media. It's called @Richmond Webb. I need you to stop what you're doing right now because we got a commercial break coming up. You guys go find him on social media. Make sure you follow him. Twitter, Facebook, @Richmond Webb. Make sure you guys go do that. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some Miami Dolphins football and you playing with them. So we will be right back on Miami Sports Music for the fans.
You're listening to Miami Sports Music for the fans. To reach out to Stephen D, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Miami Sports Music for the fans. The only show truly dedicated to the Miami fans.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat Rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in. As long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At OnSide Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At ChaseRoofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. ChaseRoofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust ChaseRoofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Welcome back to Miami Sports Music for the Fans. To reach out to Stephen D, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's the man connecting with Miami sports fans worldwide, Stephen D.
That's right. This is your boy, Stephen D., and we are live on OnSide Radio. This is Miami Sports Music for the Fans. And I have a fan here himself. And I know a lot of us that are watching, by the way, thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hitting that like button, everybody. You guys are doing absolutely amazing job supporting the show, being there, and watching this evening. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk about Dolphins. So you, what was training camp like with Don Shula? Because we've all heard the stories, right? Was it as bad as they say it was?
It was bad for me, but I think it was worse for guys that played in the 70s. And you learn that during, you meet them like alumni weekend, you go back, and back then they did 3-a-days, and my jaw just dropped. I said, what? We did 3-a-days with Coach Shula, but I was like, oh no. And we did 2-a-days, but it was, South Florida's hot, humid, and Coach Shula was old school. You work hard, a lot of hitting and stuff like that. And then we had this famous 12-minute run that we used to have to do, and I hated that thing. It was like you get stressed out before you run it, and the first time I ran it, I wasn't ready for it. So that thing kicked my butt. But he was a tough coach, but it was all in getting you prepared for the season. And, the thing with him was I think he knew from day one, get me and Keith Sims signed early. And then he put both of us on the blind side of the quarterback, which was almost unheard of, to put two rookies on the blind side of a quarterback, and especially not just any quarterback, but Dan Marino. And he had faith, but we had a lot of reps, and he got us ready to go. And I know I do, and I know Keith feels the same way, but we owe him tremendously. But he knew, I guess, how to get a team to get them prepared, get players prepared, and get the maximum out of them. And he definitely did that with us.
What was playing with Marino like? And he was already an established, star in the NFL by the time you got there. Was it kind of surreal being in the locker room with somebody like that, of that stature? And did you feel, was there any intimidation, or how was that connection in the beginning?
Yeah, well, you walk in the huddle and you got Marino, you got the Marks brothers, Duper and Clayton, and the first thing you think of, you almost kind of want to pinch yourself, because these are guys that you used to see on Monday Night Football. Miami was out, so I knew of them, and I was like, we're really here. You know what I'm saying? But Dan was cool. He made it seem like it wasn't no big deal to him, which it probably wasn't. But to us, he was already legendary. And for me, I was like, man, I don't want to be remembered for getting this guy hurt. So I definitely got to get ready. But Dan was cool. I think it was a little starstruck, and like you said, just surreal for a rookie coming from Texas, and then you meet somebody you used to see on TV all the time, and light it up on Monday Night Football. That was the thing there. So it was surreal, definitely surreal.
So you're playing, you're starting in the NFL. You're starting pretty much right away. You are starting right away, and the team, obviously, in the early 90s, they were a good football team. They were competing with the Buffalo Bills year after year after year. Obviously, the Bills ended up being the team that came out on top. Not quite on top, but they were. And so what was that rivalry like with the Bills back in the day, too? Because I say that because it's starting to be that a little bit now, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, the thing was that you understand rivalries. Like I said, I grew up, Cowboys was Cowboys, Redskins. It was kind of that way with the Dolphins and the Bills. But I just didn't know a lot about the history. And it might have been about my second or third year. I was just we used to get media guides back then. And, it'd have history and different little facts and stuff. Like now everything is online. But I was going through the media guide, and I think in the 70s, I want to say the Dolphins beat the Bills like 20 times in a row straight. So it clicked. I say, no wonder they hate us so much, because we would go up there. I mean, I always loved playing up there, but the fans was just, they could not stand the Dolphins. I'm like, okay, I know.
Bills Mafia was real back then, too.
Oh, man, I was like, okay, what's, really the deal, this and that. And then, a few years down the road, we had the famous, Brian Cox shot the finger up in the walking down the tunnel. I don't know if
the number one finger, the best finger,
the number two finger. I'm gonna put up the ones. He had the twos up. I got the ones. He's got the twos. And I was walking behind him, and I was like, it didn't surprise me because it was Brian, but I said, hey, if this is the way it's gonna be, I got to support my boy. And
that's like one of the most iconic shots in the history of the NFL, and you were right behind it in real life. That's crazy.
It was crazy. And then the funny thing about it was, I can remember we were doing, I want to say it might have been South Miami, but we were doing a autograph session, me and Brian, and this little girl came up, and I'm sure her parents put her up to it. She'd say, I love your sign language, Mr. Cox. And I just fell out. I said, well, at least we're at home.
Great story.
People got love for us. So that, those were some really good times. I tell people all the time, we just didn't have enough to get over the hump. We always competed with the Buffalo Bills, but it just had a little bit more that we just couldn't get over that hump. But,
do you know their cornerback, Thomas Smith? You remember Thomas?
Thomas? No.
Thomas Smith. He played corner for the Bills for I don't know, 8 years, 9
Oh,
years.
corner. Yeah. Thomas Smith. Yeah.
So he grew up in the same town of North Carolina where I grew up at. Very small town, Gates County, North Carolina. And so I know Thomas pretty good. Shout out to Thomas Smith if you're watching this, because I'm going to tag him and make him watch this later. But you know, that defense, playing against that Bills defense, Bruce Smith, Thomas Smith, I mean, that was a wild defense that Bills had. You know, give us some context from an offensive line point of view, playing against an overmatched. I don't want to say overmatched, but I mean, let's call a spade a spade. They were one of the best defenses ever in the NFL.
And you're right. And most of the time, the offense got most of the attention because you had Jim Kelly, Reed, Thurman Thomas, James Lofton, Steve Tasker. That was it. The K-gun, they was real efficient at doing that. But you had on defense, you had Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett. At one point, you had Bryce Pop, Darryl Talley. It was like
It was a crazy team.
Yeah, they were just as good defensively as they were offensively, and but the offense normally got. But Bruce was the best player hands down. I went against year in, year out, and
was he one of your toughest opponents you ever faced?
Was the toughest. It's not one of it was him.
No comparison.
Love
it. Love it.
And he got up for that game too. You know what I'm saying? It was a rivalry game, and it was you just had to be ready to compete for 60 minutes, and you knew it was going to be hell, but you had your hands full, so you just said, okay, it's going to be one of those days at the office, but look forward to it because I always like playing against the best because that's where you can say, okay, let me see how I measure up, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes he get me, sometimes I get him, but that's part of the battle, and I always look forward to it. But we had some good matchups.
All right. Well, so I want to remind people. I want to tell people, not remind them. I haven't told them yet. Richmond's going to come on to Miami Sports Music Clock Blockers morning show on Wednesday next week. And so we're going to get more into detail about that, the Dolphins rivalry, the current state of the Dolphins, mental health, which was our big topic this morning that we discussed, and players back then to now. But what I want to do right now is I want to just quickly, because we got a few minutes left to break and we have a very short segment coming up at the end. I just want to let the fans obviously ask a couple of questions and you quickly answer them as best as you can. So Rob G, who's a big supporter of the show, said, I wanted to ask, how was it playing with Cox? He was one of my favorite backers.
No question. Definitely one. Brian came in a year after me, so he was actually a steal. I think he's like a 5th round pick, but came in, started immediately. He could play inside linebacker, and then he could play the rush end. But his football IQ was just one of the smartest guys I ever played against. He could recognize formations, tendencies, this and that. And he wasn't the fastest guy, but he knew how to recognize that and get to wherever, the ball needed to be. He was just a playmaker. So I love me some Brian Cox. That's my man.
Ask the raging Dolphins maniac. Ask Richmond, how does Don Shula compare to Brian Flores?
Well, I think both of them very smart coaches. I met Coach Flores not last year, maybe the year before. The Dolphins played in Dallas, and I was in Dallas for the game, so I went and actually met him on the sideline. Highly impressed. I think the thing that really impressed me with Coach Flores was I think that was his first year, and some of the moves he made that it was a rebuilding year, this and that, but to see the way that the guys that were there competed, even though they probably knew there wasn't a lot of chances they were going to have to win football games, but they bought into his system. So anytime you see a guy that can convince his players to go out and compete the way he did that first year for him, he's going to be a great coach. And they continue to make the right moves to build this team. And like we were talking about earlier with the rivalries, it's happening quicker than what I expected. But I think we're definitely going to be competing for the AFC East.
See, I like to hear that, boy. I like to hear that. Richmond making me real happy tonight. That's what I want to hear. All right, last question very quickly because we're coming up on the break. I want to get Cap for Life in Richmond. Webb, do you still keep in contact with Keith Sims?
Of course. Looking forward this year, COVID kind of has constricted a bit normally. Looking forward to coming down for alumni weekend. I get to see a lot of my former teammates and all that, but most definitely I do keep in contact with Keith Sims.
All right, man. When we come back, it'll be our last segment. We're going to wrap up. We're going to promote next Wednesday. You and I are going to come on the morning show, and we're going to do this all over again, except we're going to talk about the team now and just how things are and a lot of different topics. But when we come back on this last segment, I want you to talk about the finish line, Reason, and Dolphins talk, because I want to be able to promote them and what you do with them and why and how you got that started. So we'll be back on Miami Sports Music for the Fans right here on OnSide Radio.
You're listening to Miami Sports Music for the Fans. To reach out to Stephen D, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Miami Sports Music for the Fans. The only show truly dedicated to the Miami fans.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in. As long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing a personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Let's get back to Miami sports music for the fans. You can send Stephen D a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Stephen D and Miami sports music for the fans.
That's right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Stephen D. I am super excited to be hanging out with y'all. Look, I want to talk about a few things. First thing I want to do is I want to remind everybody, after this show is over, if you could do me a humongous favor and go download this podcast on whatever platform you listen to podcast on, the audio version. We need to get those downloads up. So go to Spotify, YouTube, or not YouTube, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcast, Podbean, whatever. Download this podcast. Also, you can rewatch all or re-listen to all the other podcasts that we have had in the past too. Also want to remind people as well, if you are interested in coming on and being a fan and telling your story as a fan, remember this show is for you, Miami sports music for the fans, right? So what I want you to do is if you look in the chat, you can see that I left my email in there. I want you to tell me about your story of being a fan, lay a little blurb, and leave your contact information. And we can definitely make sure we set you up on the show because I want to get more fans on the show. This is a show that is for you guys. Now, last thing, number one, I appreciate you coming on today, Richmond, but you have an amazing show as well. That show is called The Finish Line. It is with my good friend Reason, as well as Mr. Ballgame, and it's on DolphinsTalk.com. Tell me a little bit about that show.
Yeah, basically, it was COVID and wasn't doing too much, and got in contact with Reason, and it's basically his show, but it's me, Reason, and Ball Games. Real name's Kevin Taylor, but we call him Mr.
Great
Ball.
guy. Both of them are.
Oh, great guys. And so they know football. I mean, they do the research, they watch the film, they do the breakdowns, they put in a lot of time. So I always tell people, if you want to know, or if you're not sure about something, listen to the show or listen to some of his analysis and breakdown. He also has a YouTube channel, Inside the NFL, and he's on probably 3 or 4 nights a week and picks different.
He was on with me last night with TD. We were on for like 3 hours on TD's channel. Bro, it was me, Dudley Durong, Hem, EM, Mr. Ballgame. We were all up there, man. We were having a blast. It was great. Shout out to all those guys.
But he truly loves. I mean, he has a podcast, but he truly loves the Miami Dolphins, and he's gonna support his team. He'll give you an honest assessment. If there's certain things he doesn't like, he does it, but he does it in a constructive way. But every now and then, somebody will come with some foolishness, and
he knows how to ruffle a few feathers. He ain't afraid of that smoke. I know Reason.
You don't want that smoke. So I mean, if you're looking for it, you come with it. He gonna bring it back to you. So
I like it, man. And shout out to DolphinsTalk.com. They're the ones who carry the podcast. If you guys want to go listen to The Finish Line with Richmond, Webb, Reason, and Mr. Ballgame, go to DolphinsTalk.com. I'm going to repost it on my social media after this show. Make sure you guys go do that. All right, look, man, I appreciate you coming on. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much again for doing this, especially last minute. You are such an amazing person. You are one of the kindest individuals I've met. We've met a couple of times through Solo D events and Fan Club Weekend, and I love the fact that you came on today, and I'm so excited about doing Wednesday morning with you. That's going to be a lot of fun too. So thank you for coming on today.
Well, they say birds of a feather flock together. So I know I'm in good company. Like you, Solo, just Dolphin fans in general, majority of them are 100% people just like me, and I love interacting with them and stuff like that. So I appreciate you having me on my show. It was fun, and I definitely look forward to next Wednesday, and hopefully we can revisit this again.
There's a lot more to talk about. I want to get into fans, so we'll have you on again. If you want to come on, we can do this and get into the fan stuff, which we didn't even really touch on here. So we'll save that for next episode. We'll get you on here again, and we'll do it again. Thank you so much for Richmond Webb. I'm Stephen Daniels. You can follow me at Stephen D. SKPL. Remember, SKPL stands for Spread Kindness, Positivity, and Love. And I need you guys to go do that today. I love you all. Thank you for following. Thank you for supporting. Please go download this podcast wherever you get downloads, and make sure you like and share the YouTube stuff as well. Y'all have a wonderful day. Till the next time, Richmond Webb, Stephen D., fins up. Peace out. Y'all have a good one.
You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnSideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4840.